I know.
Okay, here we go.
First meet.
Oh, good.
So I'm gonna look right here first. I'm gonna introduce myself. Hello, my name is Sam Ramirez. I am the instructional specialist here at Aldine 9th grade school, and I am the person that's attending this practicum, doing what I can to earn my master's degree. Right here, lo and behold, I have Miss Everson, one of our Algebra 1 teachers. Over there to the right-hand side is Mr., I don't know how to say your name, Mr. Rao. Gambi Rao, another Algebra 1 teacher. Mr. Benitez is in the back, another Algebra 1 teacher. Mr. Esparza, our Algebra Inclusion teacher. Dr. Wiley, my appraiser, my fantastic principal. And Mrs. Keller, our another Algebra 1 teacher, General Ed for Special Ed. All right, so our norms. We're going to keep this respectful. We're going to do what we do. It is an everyday event that we work together, so this is no different. Our norms are going to be set on what you should have been looking at during your signing. Mr. Benitez, talk to me.
Build capacity.
Build capacity. Love. Esparza.
You know, as the older I get, the more I realize I have to learn to build capacity, to challenge myself in zones that really need improvement.
I love that. Zones of improvement. Miss Everson.
Expect to push.
Expecting.
This year has been filled with so many additional responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
that I'm trying to,
Continue to grow.
yes.
Love it. Mr. Rao, talk to me.
Stay on topic.
Ooh. Because we want to make sure we get what we need to get done. Mrs. Keller.
Be present and engaged.
Present and engaged. Myself, I will say we're going to use strength-based language because I know we're about to look at data and it's going to be difficult for us to. Do I even have it on there? Yes, I did. I know it's going to be difficult for us to steer our language correctly because we're going to look at some students that, oh, why did they fail? Oh, they missed it by a couple questions, whatever the case may be. But remember, we have students first, and we're never saying the dumb kids or the low kids. We're saying the unfinished learners, okay? And my boss as our guest. What do you want to focus on today, boss?
Let's go with stay solution oriented.
Ooh. Stay solution oriented. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier before I started this video, I'm going to be a little bit more fluid, a little bit more, someone fill that word for me, a little more,
Inquisitive, asking more questions.
I care about y'all, right? So I received your feedback. I don't know the word is.
Oh, receptive.
Receptive, thank you.
Yeah, I
Be
was
more
thinking open, but yeah.
open, receptive, whatever the thing is, whichever one you're taking with you, about making sure that this air around us is not being pushed down or feeling pressure, okay? So, I was watching you on Friday at DSD, okay? And what I saw was a very, very good CBPO without my lead. Y'all were doing the math. Y'all were asking each other questions. Y'all were making sure, hey, I'm doing this way. I'm doing that this way. I saw the annotations. I said, I don't need to cover that today. Okay? Stuff like that gets me excited because I don't really have to steer the car anymore. You guys are in charge. You guys are taking turns taking over the driver's seat. Okay? So I'm not going to worry about that today. If we have time, we can skim through it, but for the most part, we're okay. You already did your do now. Mini celebrations. 2 minutes. Go.
I took my daughter to a Asian spot.
Okay.
She likes dumplings,
Oh,
and she wants to learn how to use chopsticks.
She's actually doing pretty good.
Yeah, she is doing pretty good. She kind of cheats, but it's okay.
Love it. Somebody else.
I started using the digital warm-ups today in my class first period.
For Matthew?
Yeah, not yet. Digital warm-up section, like
Is it?
what you call exit tickets.
Uh-huh.
That I put it as a warm-up from the last lesson. It went good. All of them did correct. Yeah. There were only 3 questions. Like it takes like 5 to 6 minutes.
Ooh, very mister. I can't wait for you to show us. Somebody else.
Less than 3 weeks to London.
Oh, vacation.
Cheerio, mate.
What a tea.
Is that,
Fish and
is that
chips.
London or Australian?
I don't know.
Love it. Thank you. Somebody else.
One of my babies in 5th period, I don't know if I should say the student name,
Okay.
but he got masters. It was the student that you grabbed that day.
You're lying.
Yeah, he actually got
She's not.
masters.
She's not lying.
And when I said he took all of Thursday and then he took some of Monday, because I let the kids, of course, my spare babies, they have extra time.
Yes, it's
Wow.
He got masters, and I was really looking at him. It was just so funny. So whenever I brought him up there, he's like, "You're lying," and I was like, "No, you got masters." And you could tell
Did
that
you
he.
not expect it from him, or?
Oh no. Mm-mm.
So
No.
his demeanor's not very.
Yeah. Oh, man, it's the person that we saw in the hallway that day. It's him. Yeah. So he got masters. He got masters.
Wow. I love that.
Actually, my spare kids, they was on fire last year. Some of them is on fire this year. But in that class, my spared babies are one of the 2 highest scores. Yeah.
I
So
love that.
that's exciting.
Love that. That's awesome. That's great news. That makes me feel really good. Anything from you, Sparta? So then I could.
I'm just glad I'm done with my multicultural class. I mean, I felt like I wrote a dissertation. I mean, it was beyond what I thought it should be in the scope of that class.
I love it.
I mean, I sat there at 6 in the morning on DSD day typing
I saw.
in the
I saw.
Yeah, I
lecture.
saw you.
I understand.
Yeah, to just finish that class.
Okay. Appreciate the celebrations. I'll share my celebration through email just because I'm very proud of this individual. So we'll keep moving forward. Okay. Protocols. I don't know if you all needed a breakdown, so this is what I put down. Need some goals for the lesson. Questioning's never going away. That's what we worked on last year. And evidence, which is our exit ticket. Okay? If we get to it at the end of CBPL, we're going to talk about, okay, this is what I want for strike and balance. This is what I want for systems. This is what I want for inequalities. 3 key points. Make sure we have it. Calendar, I'm not going to do that today. Don't forget about open house Wednesday. And Sandy, I will be out this afternoon for MAP strategy. I don't know what. Something having to do with the data. Once I learn that, I'll bring it to you. And I will be out for tomorrow because I need to pick up my sister from the airport, have some family issues to attend to. Part of the reason why I've been in a purgatory for a couple weeks already. Okay? Any questions before we do our data dig? Beautiful. So, like I mentioned, this document is sacred. Okay? This is what pushed us over the edge and made me who I am today in terms of data. Okay? We had 20 questions on our test. The TEKs are in blue, I hope. And our campus percentages are right there. Your task. You will go to Eduphoria, look up your individual data. You will write your percentages. You will determine if it's a strength or a weakness. Okay? How do I know what's a strength or a weakness? Top right hand side. Top right hand side shows 50, if you have more than 55%, that is a strength. If it's lower than 45, that's a weakness. It's okay to have weaknesses because guess what those highlighted numbers are? Our campus weaknesses. I will share a mini celebration on those highlighted percentages. None of them are interactive items.
Nice.
So that's a little celebration. That means our kids are struggling with multiple choice now, which is great news. Okay, so what do I want you to do? What is the intention of this document? You will have some time. Give us about 20 minutes and I'll do some airtime check. 20 minutes to dive in, fill this out. You could work with your side elbow partner. You could talk amongst a group. You could ask me. You're looking at individual data. Second page is looking at special pop groups per class. And then the last page is just the TEKs if you want to look at the TEKs. I will pass out the test right now. Question.
Are you going to show everyone how we determine our percentage?
Yeah, I can. Good question. So, there is two, if you wanna work in synchronous, you can. So there's that about just saying what your overall percentage was. Thank you for asking, Ms. Everson. Let me show you side by side. Okay, so right now, Mr. Esparza, I'll show you how to get there in just a second, right? But for you all, you just go up here to the drop down. You should see student individual responses. Wait for it. And this is our data. The plus sign indicates that's the number of kids got A correct, which is also on your paper.
Oh.
Okay? So, what do I need you to do? You're gonna write your own individual on that sheet, and I've remembered something, so give me a second. And then on this document, just because we are gonna talk about it, go ahead and write your data right here too, to compare with our campus.
Mine doesn't look like yours.
Click the little man
Well,
right
we're
there.
doing teacher summary.
Correct. So, I forgot to say this, because I do wanna do some differentiation in the delivery of a product. You have three options. You could either use this paper, you can use the Google Doc, which is the paper, but it's easier for submission, or you can use the Google Slides. I'm about to share it with you right now. What the heck, Mr. Ramirez?
So, teacher summary, right?
It's the one with the little red shirt.
So,
And these are all in the right order?
is it
Correct.
student learning standard breakdown, that's what we do, right?
Going right there, Mr. Rock.
This is what we see.
So you're gonna do individual responses.
Where did you find it in?
Quick checks,
Okay.
quick view. And then you should look for it, algebra understanding check number 1.
There you go. Just in case, it's a matter of choice. If you want this, I'm sharing with you, you can do it on here too.
Is it a cheap one?
Do you mind if we round up and so instead of putting 37.88, I just put 38?
Love it. Thank you for asking. I'm gonna share this with everybody real fast. Please make a copy. I mean, you already have access to it, but I'll reshare it. If you don't wanna do it on paper, you have access to it digitally. Any questions, comments, concerns? Are we excited?
I just want to verify that these are all in the right order.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just following that?
Correct.
Done. Next,
Yes.
done.
Easy.
I just need to get more percentages.
Little man right here.
Oh, I just switched it.
There you go. Shared these interactive digital documents with you, same exact thing. Ask me any questions.
Can you help him pop it up?
Oh, yes, I got it right here, Mr. Esparza.
Oh, you're on, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Esparza. Thank you, Mr. Benitez. So,
And I'm only looking at the A plus. But
correct.
how do I look at the text
Actual-
entry and the inline choice? Just the ones that are in green.
Correct. I think that's
But you want the, he
Would you
wants
like
the,
to see my data? I guess because you just don't have to see the next two.
Yeah, I did.
so.
But thank you.
So I'm like,
Let's do it for campus because they have other, there you go, beautiful. So these are all the spec kids, total of 15. I'm gonna put the individual responses. Here we go. So the way you work it out. So sped 15 for the first question. 33%. So you're at 33% right now.
Alright.
Beautiful.
I need a pencil.
Pencil. Somewhere right here.
I'll get it.
Somewhere in there. it to mark if it's a strength or weakness. Sorry, Mr. Benitez.
How are we gonna do the number 6?
What's your question though?
Well, look, it's, so what goes there?
68. I like your pen.
The student gave it to me. That's the one that Raphael went.
Very nice, very nice.
So weakness means below 45.
Correct, sir. So that's telling me that, and don't forget, because there's that, I'm gonna use that word purgatory, in between 45 and 55. That means it's still concerned, but for right now, it's not the area of focus.
How come I don't have a 0?
That means that your kids,
I just did it for the
either
campus.
got
Oh,
one
okay,
or
gotcha.
both of them right.
Nobody got it all wrong.
Correct,
So my number is 70.
correct. After you identify your weaknesses, you're gonna look at the lowest 3 to do your next section. Just in case we have to move on.
This pressure.
You need help, I'm passing through.
Did you just say pressure?
There's no pressure. This is,
There's always pressure.
You said the lowest 3.
correct, for the next section.
Okay, then what do we do next?
So you're filling in the boxes to what the questions are asking.
Individual
So-
responses, so go on the top.
These are your little,
Student individual.
so you're gonna look at that teak, or you're gonna write that one here. It says indicator 12,
They're not teacher.
4A, the teak is whatever, those are question type, it's gonna be multiple choice. How did you teach it? What barriers do you think is happening? What does the data tell you? And what are your responses?
What is this?
This one, see, first question,
Number 10.
right?
So it's either they got it right graphic or they got it wrong.
And the green one is the right.
Correct, I think. I didn't ask, what you call it?
What color is it?
Yeah. I wish it was a little more defined. So, if I look at this, let's go. This is correlation coefficient. And so you just gotta think about your kids, what's stopping them? And then looking at your data, not this data, but your data, what do you think happened? Why did they answer specific? Was it weighted differently? X, Y, Z.
So I'm looking at 12. I go back to 12. So everybody picks C or D.
Right.
And
So-
this is in the same order.
Correct. So why did they pick C or why did they pick B?
Can I make a comment?
But what's the
Of
answer?
course.
Or do I have to work on
I think this would be more beneficial after, I'd like to know how we all did.
Mhm.
And then digging into it, like, I wanna observe the mud pit I'm about to jump in. I feel like I just got thrown in. Like, I would like to know, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the feedback.
Cause right now I feel like,
You're on a solo island and you don't
yes,
wanna be
and
solo.
I don't, I feel like my kids are not I feel like a failure, sort of. Cause I expected, this should be higher, this should, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And then also, what does these names mean on the top? I only see my name once. Like these percentages.
Oh, those are our lowest 5. Great question. So So if your name pops up at one of the questions, I will ask you to briefly describe what you did to be the best in that
Where
specific
is this
topic.
smoking?
Well, that sucks. I want to see if I can
Where is it? Where is it? Where do you find your name?
So our highlighted booster right here. Your,
Like,
some
wait,
names
something
are
wrong
on
with
these
calculation.
questions
Let's see.
Okay.
because you did the best in that
Well, good
question.
job,
So we wanna
Benitez.
know
I
what's
see your
going
name
on.
twice.
Where's his name?
Where?
So,
Good job.
still number
Benitez,
nine.
you just
Great,
stepping out,
all of us
bud.
is
What are you
one.
doing?
What am I doing?
She says you're labeled all over the place.
That is awesome.
So like right
Honestly,
here, the 17
I'm jealous of
best.
Paris.
Oh, good.
So I'm gonna give
Cause I
you-
wanted her, I wanted that one
Why
to
do you
be
think-
mine.
What did you do?
What did she do?
that You're the best.
Number
at?
9.
Because
Well,
50% of first
I
kid
can't
got it,
say.
and campus was
Pretty
at.
good at domain and range. Let's see what that is.
Alright,
So,
let's see.
Go to the next question, cause I know your name's on there too.
77.
Oh, I like that one. That was a good one. That percentage of that.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I'm the kid that my, what do you call it? 504, 405, what is that? I need extra time.
So,
you need accommodation?
I thought
Yeah,
about
like,
what you
no,
just,
cause, right, that I'm trying my best. It's
yeah,
hard for me,
Yeah,
it's
I
very
know.
hard.
I did wanna say something, cause you said, I'd wanna know how we all did. This is what it is. Campus data, that's where we're at, that's where we're at, that's where we're at, that's where we're at.
Okay.
Campus data, these are all the percentages,
Right, I
highlighted
get
our
it.
lowest.
Okay.
You wanted to do that?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, how about this?
So, this is telling me,
So what, yeah, but just tell me how to,
you're just marking it, and then we want the,
oh, so
the
this
2
one,
and 2.
so 56, 17, and 27, and then which one do I write here?
56. Yeah. I'm gonna give us a little bit more time.
How about this next one?
Which next one?
I'm not sure. Cause it's too many combos.
So the most important one is this BD.
The red one?
The BD, right here. I don't know what color that is.
Oh, that green.
Yeah.
So
The BD.
just put that number and that's the number I put here also?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I see how, you know how whenever you're walking around the classroom or whenever you go by children, they go like this? I see why they do it now.
So what do we do after we're done with this, right?
So my friend, next you're gonna identify your lowest 3. So look through your percentages and see which one are your lowest 3.
So that would be, well, I already did that, yeah. Well, no, 'cause this one is. What is it?
So like right here, I see one of these 2. Right. So that gives you this chance. I'm gonna write 9 and 10 right there,
Oh, okay.
and then you write the T. Yeah, 9. A3C.
I'm sitting here with 2 computers, you wanna borrow? You're good. I'm sorry. My mouse, I decided to die on here, so sorry. Yeah, but it's not working. Oh, there you go.
Interesting.
I have a question.
Ask it.
So on this one, if you look at my percentages
That's the
for
question?
9,
Oh, question number.
Yeah, question number?
it's the
15.
highest for A. I don't know, I'm not understanding.
So,
So that means that 26%?
only 26% of your kids chose that one. So if we look at your percentages, most of them chose C. Why did they choose C?
Well, see, but most of them chose, wait, which one am I looking at? Okay,
Number 9, so 39.
okay, so why did they choose
Right.
this one? Okay.
But see, like, see on our paper is what, see what they saw.
It's 'cause
Correct.
there's so many numbers and this is confusing. So this is the campus one, but
Correct.
these are mine. And
Correct.
then I'm comparing this with this?
You can. It's also a reflective piece for you to look at the answer choices. Where are they, what are they choosing and why are they choosing that?
Okay.
Now, I did see the answer choice and they chose the y-intercept. Why did they choose the y-intercept? It's interesting.
You want me to tell you why?
Why?
Because the second sentence is not wrong. They started with 20 gallons, but it gave them the x-intercept.
So when I made this test, Mr. Benitez, I'm very intentional about giving them every piece of the graph so that they read the question, what the question is asking for. So that's the key piece right here. Explain the 0 So they need to immediately
Yeah,
go to.
I was about to say
boom.
0.
Yeah.
I think, because technically, if you didn't tell your kids that
We
0
didn't.
is an X-intercept, which
We haven't taught it yet.
I taught it during the review.
but I
Because you
taught
know
it-
it was in there, but we
yeah.
have not taught it yet.
I taught it during the
So
review.
So
That's
that's part
why-
of the implications, right? The barriers that exist. It hasn't been reached. The vocabulary wasn't talked about, which is completely fine.
Because to me, teaching a kid on a test review, hey, this is gonna make more sense when we get to quadratics, but when you see this word, do this, that's not teaching them.
Good. I love that. Thank you. So what I heard right there was
we should have tested 0.
correct.
I get it.
So,
But that also tells me
we should have just said X-intercept instead of your saying?
correct.
Exactly.
Correct. That's perfectly fine. Thank you for that. Because now I know for next semester when we get to this point in time, instead of 0, it'll be X-intercept.
Okay, finally finished.
So this is a document, in my eyes, it's taken a minute, completely fine. I do want us to at least get one of our 3 weaknesses down.
Okay, so that's what this is?
Correct. So we look at the lowest number. What's the lowest number?
23.
So then you're gonna write 1790. Okay, right there, 1790. And then you go to 17 to see what it's talking about. And so the
Domain and range.
domain and range. I'm gonna give us 5 minutes. Don't worry, you don't have to finish this. Just want to stay according to time because I do want us to talk about the highlighted positioning for campuses in just a moment. So I'm gonna give us 5 more minutes and then we're gonna jump to the highlighted pieces.
How can we have these right, so this is campus,
Right?
or can we have ours?
Yeah, I got you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
What'd you say 17 was? It was domain and range?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So to pull up your teacher data, and I'm glad you're asking. I'm gonna go to, I wanna restart it.
So then was that across the board? Did everybody struggle with that?
Yeah.
So how did you teach this concept?
17?
We didn't really,
And 16?
like it was in the book,
Yeah,
You know?
or the book, you know what I mean?
the book doesn't give enough
We did.
practice, correct.
And then next up
I
is
think
13.
they expect it to be their previous knowledge and it's not.
6A.
So these are your,
What berries exist?
Mhm. Yeah, I was trying to find out there, but like they switched the whole thing up to read forward.
No previous knowledge.
these are your percentages for that topic, okay?
It looks like
Which
they
one
switched
has
that
it?
website around.
Only 85
Let's
regular
try to find
numbers,
the
I
T's.
got.
Oh, that's campus.
Looks like the grants are, we have so many now, so many buttons.
There you go.
Alright, so 13,
So then mine,
quadratic.
that, so approaches is keeping that, right? And then, approaches, highs, that one? But both of these are still the yellows, right?
Correct. Oh, no, that's green.
That's just.
That's yellow.
That's in.
Blue, 23, LeBron James. Okay. You're working on this. You're almost done. I want you to look over this because I want you to talk about this in just a second, okay? You're almost done with that one. After that, stop and reflect on this one.
Okay.
Okay.
17 or 13?
Now, let me try to look at the one that you're gonna talk about.
Domain and range.
Is that what it is?
Yep, my one name for that one problem. Domain and
Hey.
range.
I will tell you this. That is the hardest problem.
This was,
Which one?
That is the hardest problem,
What
so I
number?
can't wait for her to talk about it in just a second.
What number? 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's domain and range on quadratics. It's 13.
13.
Oh, don't forget Mr. Esparza. Oh, I like that you're using color pencils.
Oh, yeah.
The teaks are right here in the very back also.
Oh,
I just figured that out.
thank you.
What do you mean by what are the implications?
What are you gonna do to respond?
Sorry.
So you know that the book doesn't carry domain and range. You're aware that they don't have the previous knowledge. What are you gonna do? About 2 minutes. Just making sure that you're ready because I do want to talk about that awesome percentage and how you taught that, okay? So be ready just to give a little explanation on why your kids did that well compared to everything else. Okay, cool.
Dang, Anderson, you just asked a question. What was his response to the last one? Did you understand?
What are we gonna do to change it? Like, so I put, the barrier is that they have no previous knowledge. They're supposed to know this and they don't. So, what does the data tell you? Well, the kids need more practice, they need to get better. What implications? How are you gonna do that? Extra work, Delta math?
I excel, Mathia, skills practice, tutorials Thursdays 3 to 5.
Different approach.
Different approach.
The differentiated. You're teaching it one style.
Love it.
Work. You gotta go in a different manner.
Those two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There's about 1 minute left. And then we're gonna close our devices. We're gonna give the floor to the people where their names pop up on certain questions. So we can understand how can we approach this as a campus in a different way.
Are we turning it into you or we keep?
I do want you to turn it in. I am a witness to what's going on, that this is brand new. I'm not gonna push on it to be due today, but as soon as you can. So I'll stop by, not tomorrow, but Thursday, or Thursday we could finish this. So we can continue to see where we can continue to improve.
Change.
What does AA mean?
African American.
Oh,
How do we pull that info? Like the
It's part of your,
demographic part?
so when you look at your overall data, it's split into categories.
right.
Underneath
Correct.
student scores, right?
Correct.
This helps.
Wait, no, that's not it.
Yes, student scores.
Okay, so
Yes.
In this first two, there's
Student scores.
three.
We need,
4 seconds. 4 seconds.
What's up? So, the plan is you're gonna take this, right? You're gonna finish it. Whenever you finish, you're gonna give it to me. I'm gonna scan it and put it in the folder so the boss knows that.
and then you give it back.
Correct. Good. So at this time, I'm gonna ask everybody, gently close down your computers. I know we were severely hurt in some cases, but we were totally engaged and it pumped me up. It was awesome. To talk about this document real quick, I'm Miss Everson, I'm gonna borrow yours real fast. It's okay if you do not finish. Sometimes we do need homework. Sometimes, not all. So when you get the chance, you finish this on your own. You know how to navigate the Eduphoria portal. On the back hand side, this is what is pertaining to my lovely thing. Lamar is asking about EcoDis. Turns out there's a bunch of our kids that are EcoDis this semester, okay? 212 kids, it's about 85%, so it's targeting all these kids in some way or fashion. Question was, what does AA stand for? Our African Americans. What does our EB stand for? Emerging Bilinguals. What does SPED stand for? Special Education Services. That next section where it says, what are some concerns? So let's say Mr. Benitez sees that his EB learners are struggling. Okay, let's zone in on those kids. Why are they struggling? What are some strategies? Some small groups on Fridays. Saw Miss Everson do it during third period. Loved it. Very, very impactful. And the last thing are interventions, which is the same thing as response, okay? Any questions, comments, concerns before we talk about our low 5 as a campus? This is gonna be flexible. Definitely get your feedback individually. You tell me what your thoughts are. None of us touched the online versions, and I'm not butthurt about it, it's okay. But there is online versions too, just in case I don't want all this paper, Mr. Amuse. Great. I have it here available when and if you're ready for it. Cool? All right. But for starters, we're looking at the test. Unfortunately, we did have a low 5. But
You're always gonna have a low 5.
we're always gonna have a low 5. So for number 9, Miss Everson will show us some amazing things that she did to get 53% on this question, when as a campus, we were 34.
How many minutes do we have?
We have about however fast we finish.
No, like how many minutes we have to show y'all what we did?
Oh, that's a great question. How much time do we want to put?
It's 2.
2. I like it. Go for it. 2 minutes.
All right, so when I read, can you please read with me? Jasmine uses a,
Pop.
oh,
We don't like
Okay.
that. Sorry.
hold on, do over. Okay, guys, try again. When I underline it, please read with me. Jasmine uses a
Pump.
pump to
Drain
the
water,
out of her.
Fish tank.
Good. The graph shows
water
Level.
level of the
Tank
tank
in
in
gallons.
gallons over time.
Okay.
That
Thank
was
you,
a long
thank
one.
you. That was, okay. Did everybody get that? We need to reread it.
We're good.
Okay. It's a tank, it's got water. All right. We want to explain the what?
Zero.
Of the,
Graph
in terms of the,
situation.
okay, so a lot of words, but what means something to us here?
Drain.
Drain, what does drain tell you?
It's gonna
Decrease. So on our scratch paper, we'll write the word drain, and we'll put a little minus so we know, and to check that at the end and we don't forget. Number 2, how many of y'all remember we talked about this during our review? What does the word 0 mean?
X-intercept.
So what else goes on our scratch paper?
X-intercept.
Yes, ma'am. X-intercept with our little clue of 0. So we know that that's what we're looking for. Okay, so everybody sees they gave us our information in a graph, right? What are the 2 things we always look for when we're given a graph?
Features.
Okay, what's our 2 favorite features?
X and Y intercept?
Yes, ma'am. So again, on our scratch paper, we're gonna write those 2 things down. X-intercept, Y-intercept, and then, remember how we like to do that and write it so we don't get them mixed up? We don't like getting them mixed up. So in X-intercept, they're giving us which one, the X or the Y?
The X.
So guess what? Put your X. In the Y-intercept, they're giving us which one?
The Y.
The Y. So put your Y. Now, the empty spaces, what do you fill in the empty spaces?
Zeros.
Okay, if I don't see that on your scratch paper, I'm not giving you credit for this, because this is how we don't get this wrong,
Love it.
right? So now we're gonna come here, what is our y-intercept?
20.
I look there, 0, 20,
Love it.
I look there, 10, 10, comma 0, and then they were asking for what?
The X-intercept, which is
So I'm gonna
0.
come down here, and what am I looking for?
You're looking for 10, 0, so we can cancel out.
Do we even have to read anything?
No.
But we're gonna, because we're nerds.
So I have,
So the 0 of the graph is
10, 0.
10, 0. This means it will take
10 minutes.
for the tank to completely drain. Does that look right?
yes.
Yes.
Time, okay, I'm happy.
Love it. Question, Mr.
So I think you had said earlier about they don't have an issue with interactive. The issue is multiple choice. I think I remember we talked about it. This was when we pushed the test strategies, right? So when it's asking for domain, I think it was on the review. What is domain? Like you already crossed out the Y's because it's not domain.
Right, like
And
for
then,
some,
yeah, that's what I'm
for
saying.
some
So
kids here, you could have said, okay, so which one are we dealing with? And let everyone say 10. So then which ones would you have crossed out?
Yeah,
These
because-
two.
because technically, like, once you know the X-intercept, you don't need to read the rest.
Correct.
Because everything else is the Y-intercept.
Correct. Yeah. Test strategies.
50 shot.
Love it. Okay, next person. We went over a little bit. That's okay. Benitez, number 12.
Oh, okay. So I really did this one on the review, because on the correlation, I had told them, I pretty much just told them 12. So they do the same thing they do on they make a table. So they make a table, create a table. Oh, that's a nice color. Create a table. They do y squiggly line x 1 plus b, and then I told them what's in the word correlation. What letters in the word correlation? R, right? So you look at M is slope, B is y-intercept, and I just told them R equals correlation,
Okay.
and that's pretty much how I did it. Like,
That's all you did. That's crazy.
So you're
Because they already know M is slope,
Mhm.
B is y-intercept, and then and I told them, you know, when I taught the lesson, it was -1 will be negative association, +1 is positive association. But I also told them they're never gonna ask you for R2, R
So
squared.
I'll give you some insight that I like that you said correlation R because of the double R. All the answer choices, because I'm evil, are on their Desmos. Okay, so when they type in the table, they do the tilde, it shows them all those numbers. So it's very impactful, which is why Mr. Benitez's kids did so well, because he told them correlation R. So that triggered something to me. I don't know if it triggered something to you all, but each
Because-
answer choice is on Desmos when they type it.
Because I think when I was doing it, I didn't want to take away the process. The process is the same. It's just you're looking at something new. But I also told them, and I didn't really want to tell them, I was like, correlation is rarely, you're ever going to get a correlation question,
Right.
right? So when you see the word correlation, there's no M in correlation. There's no B in correlation. The
Right.
only letter in correlation is R.
Yeah.
So correlation means R.
Yeah.
And you use that.
And rationale, didn't really talk about it too much, it's just there for your pleasure to read. This was tested last year, so that's why I jumped it on there, because it was tested the exact same way, exact same style, so that's why it's on there, okay? Miss Keller, 13.
Oh, calculator. I need to know.
Okay, so let's go ahead and go to 13. So looking at 13, we have domain and range. So what I tell my kids is whenever I highlight, you highlight, and we're only going to highlight the keywords. Our keyword is domain and range. Now I will go ahead and ask the kids, what do we know about domain? So what do we know about domain? X. Okay, so on the side we write domain. When you say X, we're looking at our X values. If we're looking at our X values, what axis are we looking at? X-axis. Also, whenever we're looking for domain, if we're looking for the X-axis, how are we going to read the X-axis? In which way?
Side to side.
Okay, now side to side. Thank you ever since she said left to right. So we're also going to put left to right. We're only going to focus on domain first. So, since we're going to look at the axis, I tell my kids to highlight the axis we're looking at. Since we're looking at domain, we're only going to highlight the x-axis. Now, Everson told us left to right. I'm not talking about the left to right on the graph. I'm only looking at the function. Now, whenever I look at the function for domain, all the way on the left, we're going to circle. All the way on the right, we're going to circle. But since this one actually have a point, we're going to circle what number it corresponds to. So that number was between 4 and 6. Y'all know what's between 4 and 6?
5.
Oh, sorry.
Boom. 5.
Oops.
So this is an arrow. My kids know that it's always going to continue. So since we're only looking at our domain from 5, are these numbers greater than 5 or are they less than 5? That's going towards the left because of the arrow. Less than. So they know that 5 and less than. So you can go ahead and cancel out some. So like D have -4, we can go ahead and make sure we cancel out that one. And then they will actually have to read. So this one says the domain of all real numbers is greater than 5. Is that true?
No.
No. So I can already cancel out that one. Is that all we can cancel out? I think so. So now I'm going to go ahead and move to range with a new color. What do we know about range?
Y guys. Y.
Okay, so on our paper we're going to put range. You said it's the Y values. If it's the Y values, what axis are we looking at?
Why?
The Y axis. And this is a difficult question for them. Since we're only looking at the Y axis, how are we going to read it?
Up and down.
Top to bottom, is that right? Are we going to do top to bottom or bottom to top? So I always tell them that it's bottom to top. How do they remember? I make them write it down every single time.
You're doing bottom to top because negatives to positives.
So they always know bottom to top. So I'm gonna look at the bottom. This is the bottom. I'm circling a number that corresponding to the bottom. Then we're gonna look at the top. This is continuous. This is right here. This is everything at the top. Now, since we're looking at the very top, we're gonna just look at that arrow. And then you know that your bottom is -4. So which one can we cancel out?
B.
And then did you have 3, correct? So I highlight, because it's easier for my sped babies to actually look at what they're doing. So they would have just picked a new highlighter to highlight their Y.
You all know I love this question. I always put it on all our tests. No matter, I always change the function, the way it looks, close, open, circle. I love this question because it's so dang hard. Okay, so don't get discouraged. This is our toughest question, but we're just gonna keep practicing. You know, we just talked about how it's not talked about in the book, so we need to find some practice, whether it's skills practice, whatever we got to do just to make sure. Because, like Mr. Rao said last time, we don't talk about domain and range enough. So that's a big insight that we don't do it. Okay. All right, Mr. Benitez, you got like 2 minutes. Go. Or less than 2 minutes. 14.
Okay, so this is what's in this one. Okay, so pretty much I told them, one of the things I asked them was, do they know what array is?
Okay.
Right, so array is when something's going one direction. When I showed them what array is, I told them they're never gonna put array in Desmos. Right, so in Desmos, whenever they put something on, it's always continuous. And I told them whenever you put an equation in Desmos, you gotta picture as if it's never stopping.
Okay.
Right, so I told them when you see all real numbers, when you see 2 arrows on Desmos, whenever you put something in Desmos, that means there's 2 arrows. And from the very beginning, I told them 2 arrows means all real numbers. That's pretty much it.
That is it.
It was more like a word thing, you know. Like I told them, I was like, there's hints and tips and tricks. Like I told them, like it's like a cheat sheet, like a game.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're putting in Desmos, 9 times out of 10, domain is always gonna be all real numbers.
Love it. You said exactly what we all know you're gonna say. Little nugget for the future. Start thinking about how we're gonna do that for our EBs.
Yeah.
Because 2 flechas, todos números, pero how do we explain that? What Mr. Benitez just said. Okay. So love it. Appreciate you, Mr. Benitez. Good job, because I know that you put that in on your kids. And last but not least, and then we'll call it a day, Mr. Rao with number 17.
Okay.
Oh, it was one interactive item. That's my fault. Keep going right there.
Okay, as we talked about, it doesn't have arrows on both sides.
Correct.
That's the first thing they need to identify that. It has it has 2 closed circles on the endpoints. So in my class, we already talked in the beginning. If you have closed circle, then you are similarly like that. Or like this. This means the closed circle, right? If you don't have it, it is an open circle. Guys, they need to know that. And every day they are writing on the formula chart. Okay, and here it has 2 endpoints, there is no arrows, that means no question of all real numbers. Now when you see the 2 sides endpoints, what I ask my kids to do is like this, okay. Enclose this whole thing in a box on the grid lines, okay? So like this, let's see, this. This is the smallest box I can draw on the graphing grid. I'll ask the kids, okay, can we draw anything smaller than this so that everything fits in that?
No.
Bigger, you can draw many, right? You can draw better. Now you take that, your domain is x-axis, right? So you put your pencil on x-axis like this, you go when you touch the box. What number I'm touching here? 2. So you start from domain, 2. And as you see that go up, where do you end this box at? What number you end? 5. So domain is always my x. Now you see the circles, they're closed, therefore I use both sides. Done.
That's beautiful.
Right. Same thing with the range. This is asking only right domain, right? No, range also. Same thing, you take your pencil, put on y-axis. Am I touching the diagram? No, right? You go up. Always start from the top, bottom to top. So you go here. When I'm touching the box, what number is that?
1.
So you start at 1, and you go continue like that. Where am I ending? 8. So it stops at 8. So in the middle I got y. Same thing. 2 circles are closed. Done.
Perfect.
Very good, Mr. Rob.
Choose your answer. That's all.
Very straightforward. With this last minute left,
17, yes.
do we have any questions, comments, concerns? Please remember, I'm not asking for this today. Remember, I'm out tomorrow, so I can pick this up on Thursday or Friday. You have your time to take care of business. Love the explanations I see right here on Keller and Ms. Everson's paper. The biggest point is making sure that we're not just paying attention to the masses, but taking a deep dive into our sub-pops, okay? Test came out great, very happy. Overall, we're doing great. Hopefully we see 85% is just a start. Can we get better? Hell yeah, we can. I think we could go as high as we can with these kids. I'm thinking on Friday too, I'm gonna go talk to those kids that were unsuccessful. So be on the lookout for me. I'll just pop in and pull one at a time just so I can see what the deal is, encourage them to stay for tutorials, whatever we need to do. All right, adios.
See ya.
Have a great day.
What would you have everybody percentages?
In a little bit.
Get a sense of?
On that note,
So we're filling out that,
I don't want to say it, but she's already going there.
What?
we're gonna put in the Excel sheet.
So
You know the grades that we did last year, you know, that's an
Oh,
Excel
data
sheet.
tracking, right?
the data tracking is up and running.
What?
Data tracking that will fill the number. I will.
It's like an Excel sheet, right?
Yes, hold on. Because I'm telling you, I work with the best people ever. Did you see how united we were on DSD versus everybody else? Sorry. We were united. Over here. Same thing as the previous years. I'm going to add the tests. This is where the kids started. I'm going to show where we are now. Our names are down there. Don't worry about Sped EB African American. That's for me. But your names are there. Everybody's kids are there. Except Mr. Esparza, I'm still working on
So we're
yours.
just entering their grade.
We're just entering their grades.
That you were-
That also goes to, I have our starts for 8th grade. I'm gonna add teacher edition right here. Be on the lookout for my email. Okay?
What do you mean starts?
So this is where our percentages were for your kids right now. And then I'm gonna add the test results right here. That's answering Ms. Keller's question about individual teachers. Bye, have a great day.
Oh,
I was
that's
in
how
work
you
looking like
close it up now, huh?
because of that.